Hello, everyone, and welcome to our cocktail webinar series. I'm your host, Fotis Stamos, and with me, as always, the lovable Ari Kalos. Ari,
Hello. How is everybody?
excellent. And Ari, this is our second cocktail webinar of 2021, and what a better way to kick off the year with this amazing lineup we have tonight. It's been in the making, but thanks to our host, Effie Panagopoulos, who we're going to introduce in a couple seconds, who put this entourage together of guests that I would be honored and honored to have, is with us tonight. We're going to have from Kefi FM's Penny Meletlidis. We have the founder of Greece Media and a childhood friend, Tony Kariotis, and as well with us, award-winning TV host, the amazing Debbie Matenopoulos. We want to thank the guests that are joining us for this extraordinary webinar. Each of our guests are going to demonstrate a different cocktail, but backed by popular demand, we have with us the founder of Kleos Mastiha, Effie Panagopoulos. Effie, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us during your busy schedule. Welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having me.
This is exciting. I mean, the fact that we've seen you grow from the beginning stages of this love of yours and this passion that you've had for your product. We've been with you, I think, every step of the way, and it's just very refreshing to see where you started and where you are today.
If it weren't for COVID, I'd be a lot farther, but thanks.
Yeah, well,
I suffer from major imposter syndrome, so it's really hard for me to even feel like a lot of progress has been made. But yeah, the launch was March of 2018. I did a soft launch in Mykonos summer of 2017. It's now Boston, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, a little bit of a trickling in Florida. We're going to be opening up Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, Illinois, Florida, and California in 2021. So
awesome.
Super exciting. Canada just placed their first order. So I think there's some people from Ontario that are with us tonight. So you'll be able to get it at the LCBO stores in Canada at the end of March. And it's also in the UK and in Cyprus. And then I'm finally starting distribution in Greece this year, which has been a little bit of a sore spot for me that, obviously my product is, made in Greece. Mastiha is a PDO. It's a protected designation of origin ingredient. But due to kind of like the tax structure and the difficulties of doing business in Greece, I've not been distributing there. So it's finally going to happen this year.
Congratulations.
So I typically start these Zooms off to kind of get everyone in the mood by doing a little mini trip to Chios. I know some people here have joined, so I've made a real conscious effort to make this Zoom and the things I'm going to show you guys tonight different than some other things I've shown in the past. And because the theme is, Valentine's Day and love, there's a lot of things that we can talk about when it comes to Mastiha, because really people who know Mastiha are pretty obsessed with it and kind of just like me really fell in love with it. As a Greek American who was the brand ambassador for Metaxa, when I rediscovered Mastiha as an adult, and that was in Mykonos at Namos, this crazy beach bar, I literally thought to myself, wow, this is 3,000 years of history. It's a superfood. It's good for the gut. It was first prescribed by Hippocrates for medicinal purposes, first mentioned in ancient history by Herodotus, who was the Greek father of history. You couldn't make this stuff up any better, and we're in an era that at the same time, we've got this onslaught of really inauthentic, cheesy, celebrity-owned brands and coming out. And then at the same time, you've got, millennials and Gen Z that are really, thirsty and hungry for brands with a real story to tell, authenticity and history. So for me, Kleos was, such a slam dunk. And obviously I've done a lot of special things to make sure that the product is going to be best in class for the category. Before I jump in and show you guys these videos, I'm gonna just touch upon a couple of production points with Kleos. So this is the baby. And for those of you that don't have a bottle yet, you can get it from Fati. He ships to over 12 states and some more, I guess, because you can sneak it through FedEx, right?
Greek style. No, don't.
But Kleos is the only double distilled small batch, low in sugar Mastiha on the market. There's a couple of production points of differentiation with Kleos and other Mastihas. Number one, it's a neutral grain spirit base. So that means it's essentially a vodka to start. I use a cereal blend. It is from the same factory in Poland that makes Belvedere. So that's what we start off with to make Kleos. I then do a double distillation. So we run it through the still 2 times. One time with raw Mastiha resin, and then a second time with Mastiha essential oil. I would say there's over 50 brands of Mastiha in Greece now. Of those 50, probably 80% are artificially Mastiha, like artificially made. They do not have authentic PDO Chios Mastiha. And then of the 20% that have Mastiha in them, the majority use only Mastiha essential oil. So very rare to actually distill with the raw resin. If anyone's cooked with Mastiha before, maybe Debbie, you could speak to this. The Mastiha sticks all over your pots and pans.
Yeah.
Very difficult to cook with because when you heat it, it gets tacky again because it's this resin from a tree. So it turns back into that kind of soft and tacky form. So that's why very few distilleries actually put Mastiha in the still. We do. It's also going to be the lowest in sugar that's on the market currently in the United States. There's a few dry Mastihas that are in Greece, and I tested bone dry Mastihas when I first was doing formulations, and consumers actually really hated them. Bartenders, nerdy cocktail bartenders loved the dry Mastiha, and then consumers did not. So that's the funny thing, guys. Like I made Kleos just sweet enough. It's still low cal, low sugar, 2 full ounces, which is the biggest size jigger you can get is 2 ounces. 2 full ounces is 110 calories, 4 grams of sugar. Most Mastihas that you will buy, particularly the leading brand, I'm not going to say the name, I'm sure you guys know, the leading brand is 3 times the sugar. And most are actually 4 times the sugar of what Kleos has. So Kleos is sweet enough. And the funny thing is, you know, everyone's on a diet in the United States. No one wants sugar, but then when you blind taste people, they always like the sweeter stuff. So with Kleos, it was really important to me to create a balanced product. So it's balanced enough that you can drink it on the rocks with a wedge of lemon, and it's sweet enough that people who are used to that very sweet Mastiha can really get turned on to Kleos because it's still very flavorful. It's not that bitter bone dry, which is what Mastiha is without any sugar. It's quite bitter. That's a little bit on the Kleos production. It is also distilled by Greece's first female distiller. I'm the first Greek woman in history to start a liquor brand. And we make it on the island of Lesbos. 2 women on the island of Lesbos. Ha ha ha. I did not do that on purpose. That was not a cheeky marketing ploy, but it's kind of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Host disabled attendee screen sharing. Ari, can you let me share my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the host should allow everybody's video so we can all see each other.
Awesome. And this is our little virtual trip to Chios. So real quick, just so you guys know kind of where you've been here. This beach here is called Mavravolja. So for those of you that don't know Mastiha, Mastiha is a PDO. It's a protected designation of origin ingredient. It's a resin that comes from the skinos tree that grows only on the island of Chios and only in 24 villages in the southern part of the island of Chios. So this beach here, Mavravolja, is in that particular PGI, that particular geographic area. This here is called a Navita. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then here is the village of Mesta, which is my favorite Mastikochori. It is literally a medieval village. It's a walled castle. It was built in the 12th century by Genovese Italians. Like most of the other Mastika producing villages, were actually built by the Italians. So tell your Italian friends, we owe it to them that Mastiha actually even exists today because the Italians organized the commercialization of Mastiha throughout the Southeast Mediterranean basin. This village here is called Piryi. This entire village has this architectural motif. It's called the Xisti motif. So the whole village has this kind of beautiful design on all the buildings. And then this here is a field of Mastiha trees. And I'm gonna show you another video real quick that was done by an artist and director named Stratis Voyadzis. If you've ever been on the Kleos website, I have a whole section with his book, which is called Inner World. So Stratis is an artist and director that grew up in the Mastikochoria, and he did this film, kind of a little bit of an art film. I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's 3 minutes. That just kind of gives you a little bit of the vibe of how difficult the work is to cultivate and harvest these trees. So I'm going to cut this short just because I'm a little conscious of time. So what you might not be able to tell is that this is about 6 o'clock in the morning. The harvest happens in the summer. It's from July 15th until the end of September. And it's very much backbreaking labor. The first time I went down to actually participate in the harvest myself, I was so excited. It smells like you're walking into a spa. The smell of the Mastiha trees is amazing. It's something akin to eucalyptus. It's really, really beautiful. But about an hour in, I was kind of like, I'm good. You're literally hunched over on your knees pretty much the entire time. These trees are kind of like olive trees. They grow low and the branches spread out really wide. This tradition has also been honored by UNESCO. It's on its list of intangible cultural world heritage because the cultivation of Mastiha has been done the same way for over 3,000 years. It's all done by hand. There's virtually nothing automated about the process. And that's another thing that I found to be so beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to show you, and this is the last video I'm going to show, is an interview that I did with a couple of Mastiha farmers. One of them is my friend Vasily, and he actually has an agritourism business. So if you ever want to go to the Mastiha, he is based in Mesta, and he will bring you to trees and let you have the whole experience. If anyone wants to be connected, please let me know. But I basically shot a documentary film summer of 2016, and I interviewed tons of different characters and personalities that are, involved with Mastiha. Either the farmers, work for the Growers Association. So in this little interview snippet, I asked them to describe the relationship between the tree and the farmer. 1 minute long, enjoy.
Δηλαδή ένα δέντρο που είναι όλο το είναι του νησιού, ας πούμε, το παρελθόν, το παρόν και ίσως και το μέλλον. Και το πληγώνουμε. Τώρα αυτό τι νόημα έχει. Άμα δεν το πληγώσεις, δεν θα δώσει. Απ' την άλλη, άμα δεν το κάνεις με αγάπη, δεν θα έχει ορίζοντα, δεν θα έχει μέλλον, θα είναι βιώσιμο. Σου δημιουργείς μια πληγή, ένα στρες, ένα πόνο. Το κάνεις όμως με έναν τρόπο που το δέντρο καταφέρνει να αμυνείται, σου βγάζει το προϊόν της άμυνάς του που είναι η μαστίχα, και σε αφήνει να το μαζέψεις και εσύ το αφήνεις να εκπουλώσεις αυτή την πληγή για να κάνεις τον επόμενο χρόνο μια διαδικασία. Άμα αυτό το κάνεις σωστά, βλέπεις τις σουλές πάνω στο δέντρο. Και αισθάνεσαι κιόλας εκείνη την ώρα και τύψεις. Πρέπει να είσαι αποδοτικός.
Δεν παίζετε κλασική μουσική στην χωράφια.
Εντάξει, δεν το έχω δει.
Εγώ παίζω πάντα.
Very moving.
I love these guys. One of them, not Vasily, the guy on the right, Costa, is the president of his Mastiha. Like each Mastiha has its own president for the Growers Association, and that particular gentleman is in Armolia, which is another Mastiha. But I just, really found this kind of relationship between the tree and the farmer to be quite erotic, like even when he's describing it, he's saying you hurt the tree, but you have to do it with love so that it gives you its resin. And he was saying, you kind of, after you've made all the incisions, you look at those trees and they look like literally they've been beaten or whipped, right? And then when they go back, because you go back multiple times throughout the season, when you go back, you have to make sure that you don't make the incisions on the same place because they're literally, you've wounded the tree, right? So it's quite it's quite the love affair. You kind of have to, someone in the waiting room, you have to really do this with love and with care, but they're essentially hurting the trees, right? So anyway,
Effie, quick question. Yeah. Have they told you how long does it take to go back to that same wound to use it again?
They're typically they're not doing it in the same summer. So they would do it next summer.
Next summer, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like most of the videos that I've taken are of what they call rinyasma, which is the first gendima. So the first gendima means embroidery. That's what they call making the incisions on the tree. The first one you can see is pretty fast, right? And when they have to go back, it's slower because you have to be more meticulous and be careful of where you're actually making the incisions. So yeah, this is all of that happens before it even gets into a bottle of Kleos. So, there's a lot of love and care that goes into making Kleos and into harvesting Mastiha in general. And like I said, I feel like everyone that loves Mastiha is quite obsessed. So that said, I'm going to introduce you to someone who most of us are Boston born and raised, except for Deb. And Tony, I met last year at a Hellenic Initiative event, 2 years ago now. And he knew one of my former high school students, Chuck Dukas. And since then we've become such close friends because I feel like he tags me he's like a man of mystery. He's always traveling and he's constantly tagging me where he's drinking Kleos. So he's become a huge fan. And this lucky mofo got the I Am Greece handle on Instagram and he's absolutely killing it. So I'm going to pass it on to Tony and he is going to demo his favorite Kleos cocktail for Valentine's Day. We're not all making them pink tonight, but this one is a red drink. So Tony, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thank you, Effie, and thank you everybody that joined and the team that's here tonight. You're right. I mean, I tag you every single time I find Kleos, and I always ask for Kleos no matter where I am. I could be a place that they never heard of it, but I'm asking them first. But so what I'm going to be demonstrating tonight is the Kleos Cosmo. So let's take it right from the top. So bear with me. I've never bartended in my life before. I usually just like the drink made for me. I don't usually make them. So we're gonna learn together. So this drink is by explaining the steps, right? So we have 2 ounces of Mastiha.
Let me interrupt 1 second. So
Sure.
The drink that Tony is making is actually the drink that's in the cocktail kit being sold on Greek Wines Delivered. So if you go to Greek Wines Delivered, you can buy a bottle of Kleos individually. You can buy a Greek package that has a ton of different Greek products, Tsipuro, Kleos, Ouzo, and gin. And then you can buy the Kleos Cheeky cocktail kit. So there is a company called Cheeky that makes some really cool mixers. And so, so Tony's making one of the 2 drinks that's in this cocktail kit, which is the Kleos Cosmo.
So first we start off with this fantastically beautiful bottle, right? The Kleos bottle. I'm sure you guys have seen this on shelves everywhere. So let's take it right from the top. So we're going to do 2 ounces of Kleos. So let's stop. Perfect. Oh, the first try, see that? So now the Cheeky that you just mentioned, we're gonna go with cranberry first. We're gonna do a 1/2 ounce. So that's good. Sorry, I put a little too much there, but I'll pour that. I actually didn't put enough Mastiha, so I'll get right back to that in a second. And now we have the lemon juice. We're gonna go a 1/2. I gotta go back to this because I missized that. I only put a 1/2 the first time. So we're gonna go up to 1. Now we need another 1/2.
So we're trying to show that these drinks are idiot proof.
They are. If I'm making it, they're idiot proof. That was the nicest way you can pull that one off. I just got to put that out there. That was the nicest way.
Ingredients: Kleos, cranberry.
So now we have in here, we have 2 ounces of Kleos Mastiha. We have a 1/2 ounce of cranberry, and we have a 1/2 ounce of cheeky lemon. So I'm just going to load this up with some ice. Idiot proof, you're right. I'm going to grab my cap. Is that good? Now we're gonna have a cup of ice. Let's get up to the camera.
Wow.
I think your measures are off, Agapimu.
Are you sure?
That drink is supposed to be a little red. Yeah.
I put 1/2 and 2. You want to come back to me and I can practice again?
That's all right.
So maybe it was not idiot proof. Totally.
I did it.
This is just an excuse to drink too.
Perfect. I'm gonna drink this. Come back to me and I'll perfect
I
it.
like that idea. Drink that, Tony.
So
I'll save the lemon for later.
So I have to say, you know, Cosmopolitan is not my first drink of choice by any stretch. It's kind of passe. It's definitely a drink of the 90s. And the drink became huge because of the show Sex and the City.
Right.
So one thing I want to mention is that Kleos is partnered with Patricia Field, who was the costume designer for Sex and the City, and now it's getting a redux, coming back on. Patricia Field is half Greek. Her mother was from Plomari, which is where I make Kleos, in Plomari. And we're going to be doing t-shirts together for another cocktail that's in this cocktail kit, which is called the Cleopatra. So we're doing these t-shirts, Cleopatra t-shirts, that are Patricia Field art fashion shirts, and they're going to have this superhero Cleopatra on the shirt, and those are going to be for charity. Look out for those at the end of the year.
That's cool.
Tony, how does this drink taste?
It tastes phenomenal, but I'll come back to me and I'll do it again if you want.
All right. So I'm going to pass it on to Penny Meletlidis. She is another girl I met in Boston coming back home. You know, I had a homecoming. I left Miami. I went back home to Boston, January of 2018. Besides meeting Tony, reconnecting with Foti, we grew up and went to the same church together. I met Penny because she was doing her first bodybuilding show, and she reached out to me because she both loved Kleos and, you know, is a fellow meathead. And it's been amazing to see her do now her second show during COVID, and this girl is absolutely killing it. Phenomenal body. She does fitness classes online. Follow her on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram in the chat. But she's another one that's always tagging me, making drinks for her friends. And I'm like, hey, will you come on this Zoom and make your favorite Kleos drink for everybody? So take it away, Penny.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored that you asked me to join, because like you just took the words out of my mouth. I love Kleos. It's my favorite, absolute favorite. I mean, I always love vodka and whatever, but I think this definitely takes the lead. So initially I tried it first, like on its own, and it's got a sweet kick to it, but I've always loved Mastiha. Like back when I was a kid, I would stick the Mastiha in a cup of water. Did you ever do that? Like stick the spoon of vanilla with that flavor, the Mastiha flavor. Oh, I loved it. So it's not a foreign flavor for me, so I love the flavor. So anyway, I saw the bottle, I bought the bottle, and a friend of mine and I, every time we get together, we make the I Kleos meal. That's on the recipes right on the bottle, and it's my favorite. It's the simplest recipe, but I love it. If I can pop this open now, I think I pressed it too hard. But I'm going to go ahead and make it for you guys. Like that. Bodybuilder cannot open the bottle.
You need assistance.
Here we go. I did it. All right. So you got your shaker, a really easy recipe, and the jigger, or, you know, if you don't have a jigger, you can always just use any measuring cup, right? So anyway, it is 2 ounces of the Kleos. So I will put that in the shaker. I got some ice in here too to keep it nice and cold. Put some more in here. So 2 ounces.
Everyone's mixology game is better and better.
Yes, Debbie's obviously going to be way, way, way better than me. But I've done this so many times that I'm like, oh, I just love it. And I'm not a bartender either, but I feel like one when I make this. So anyway, and then 1 ounce of tequila. So I'm gonna hide the bottle name brand because we're showing off Kleos right now. Pour, and then ½ an ounce of fresh lime. So I already cut one in half. I'm just gonna squeeze it. ½ an ounce, so pretty much half a lime, right?
Yep.
It's pretty much ½ an ounce based on my experience. Throw it in, and then we shake it all up. At the end. I have my fancy little margarita glass.
Love it.
Yeah, gotta get fancy and watch. Wait till the end. So we're gonna pour it in. I don't think it's gonna fill the whole thing. Just do half. I usually do double the amount. But for, you know, for this purpose, we'll stick to, we'll keep it conservative.
Yeah, 3 to 4
3 ounces.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I do 4 ounces of the Kleos, and then I do 2 ounces of tequila. I double it all up.
There you go.
And then I garnish it with some black pepper. So good. I know it's one of those things, like you first read it, you're like, is that right? Black pepper in the drink. So good. And then I take a slice of lime and I just cut one portion of it and I decorate my cup, and it's so pretty. Look at this.
Can we get a screenshot of Penny with this drink? Because this is so cute. I love it.
Beautiful.
And it's not pink, but it's just,
Fantastic.
Hold on. I'm
I'm
screenshotting.
holding. Hold on, I got Let me know, because I'll stay here forever.
Got it.
Cheers. So I'm gonna have my sip. So good.
Oh, that picture is amazing. I love it.
And it's like one of those drinks you can have all year round. It doesn't matter. Like summertime, winter, right now, it's super refreshing. It's so good. So light. Even my husband likes it, and he doesn't drink alcohol.
It's a riff on the classic Tommy's margarita. So a Tommy's margarita is just tequila and lime and a little bit of simple. We've become used to margaritas that are made with Cointreau, the orange liqueur. So think of it this way, you're using Kleos instead of an orange liqueur and tequila. So it's a much cleaner, fresher, lower calorie, lower sugar version of a margarita. And then, with Kleos, anytime you're drinking about 2 to 4 ounces, you're gonna burp up a little bit because I put a lot of Mastiha in there. So the healing properties for the stomach are still retained in liquor form.
So in this case, burping is good.
So
Good for digestion.
we are going to take it to the pro. I mean, look at the TV host, of course, is all set up like she's on set right now. I love it.
It's going to be the complete opposite of my result.
So I'm going to say, so I met Debbie over, I want to say 12 years ago. I was the national brand ambassador for Meletlidis. It's a Greek brandy. We sponsored the LA Greek Film Festival. Debbie was the MC for the first LA Greek Film Festival. I had this huge Metaxa bar, and I also, was interviewing people. And I grabbed her, and we became instant friends. We're both Sagittarians. She's December 13th. I'm the 15th. I cannot tell you how much love I have for this woman. She honestly has been an amazing TV personality. I used to follow her not only on The View, also on E's Fashion Police, completely obsessed. If you guys remember that show with Joan Rivers, how can you not remember that show? And she's now on the Hallmark Channel, Home and Family, if you guys want to tune in. But I'm going to pass it on to Debbie. She's making a drink with raspberries. It's called Absolutely Fabulous. And because we're both using raspberries in our cocktail, I want to read one little fun fact I found about raspberries and their aphrodisiac properties. So this is from a website called eatsomething.sexy.com. And it says, if you stop and think for just a moment, the aphrodisiac allure of the raspberry is obvious. Shape and texture alone make this summer fruit sexy. And they say the raspberry is an aphrodisiac because it looks like a nipple.
Ari, it looks just like yours.
Combined with that ruby glow given off by a bowl of the ripe summer fruit, a raspberry is simply a morsel of seductive beauty. So we all know the word aphrodisiac comes from the Greek goddess Aphrodite. So the drinks tonight really are drinks that get you in the mood, quote unquote. So besides the fact that it's a sexy fruit, it also has antioxidants and manganese. So that's my fun fact on raspberries. Debbie?
Can I just say how touched I was? Not about your raspberry aphrodisiac little speech, but I was very about what you just said, because it's true, Effie. I mean, you hold such a just huge place in my heart. You are one of my favorite people on the planet, and honestly, you're like my sister, and I mean that. And from the minute we met, we hit it off like a house on fire. I mean, I know we have shared so many highs and so many lows, and I just want to say, first of all, before I get started, happy birthday. It's coming up. So I just want to say also that your dad would be so proud of you for making this happen and having it come to market. And I know how hard you worked on this from the very beginning. I remember being in my house in LA 12 years ago, or maybe like 10 years ago, wouldn't you say? I can't hear you.
Effie.
I can't hear you.
I muted myself.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, isn't it?
Yes, I worked on Kleos for, well, I didn't work on it for 9 years, but it was 9 years from the day I tasted Mastiha and said, I'm going to do this till the day that I launched. So,
And I remember we were sitting in my house and we were on the inversion table and you had 1,000 different vitamins because you're always so healthy. I mean, she literally traveled with a suitcase of vitamins I was like, what is this? A whole suitcase full of vitamins. You have been that healthy since I've known you, but I will say that you were tenacious about raising money and about talking to people and getting your deck out, and you would not take no for an answer. And it makes me want to cry because I saw you from the beginning to now. And this is amazing. You did it. You did it. And not only did you do it, you did it right. And I'm not saying this just because you're my friend. It is so good. It is so delicious and so light and so refreshing, just like Penny said. And it's not like, yes, people may think of Mastiha in the olden, like Mastiha kind of view as a specialty drink. But to me, this is interchangeable with any of the vodkas or the tequilas or the, the gin. I mean, any day of the week. And it's better for you.
I say it's like a healthy and more flavorful alternative to vodka or gin, because you can just drink it on the rocks. You can sub it for vodka or gin in cocktails. But then you can also mix with vodka and gin with Kleos if you want to make your drink a little more alcoholic. So
basically what I'm doing today. And I know your dad and my dad are somewhere in heaven cheersing, drinking your Kleos and saying, "Kita ta koritsaki mas." I mean it. I know it. My dad used to love Mastiha. I know he would love this. All right. So before I start crying, I'm going to, I also did all this for you, just so you know. Little Valentine's chocolates and some flowers. I have some little sweethearts here for you as well. A little charcuterie board.
I hope the men are taking notes.
That's okay. The girlfriends will do it for each other. All right. So we're going to start with a 1/2 ounce of lemon, right? I hope I'm going to do this right for you.
Yep.
So here's a 1/2 ounce of lemon. Oh boy, Penny, I need your muscles. There we go. Whoa. Okay. We are very fortunate out here in California to have fresh lemon trees everywhere. And I know it's snowing across the country. I wish we had snow, believe it or not. I know you guys are sick of it, but I wish I was there. Okay, so a 1/2 ounce of lemon. I'm going to do a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, correct? Or a full ounce? So do half or full?
It's an ounce of vodka.
No, simple syrup, Kale.
Oh, simple syrup is a 1/4 ounce.
1/4 ounce. Well, if you like a little more, put a little more. Okay, so I'm doing a little over a 1/4 ounce right there. Now I made my own simple syrup because it's so easy to make simple syrup. Like that's why it's called simple syrup. You don't buy it in the thing. Just make it yourself. It's a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, just stir it, and that's it. I mean, it's basically the syrup for galaktobouriko and for baklava. So I think everyone who's Greek at home knows how to make this. So then you put that in there. Now we're gonna muddle some raspberries. This is what's gonna make it red and beautiful for Valentine's Day. These beautiful aphrodisiacs that you just heard Effie talk about. So you muddle this all together. I learned from Effie that it's important to muddle all the fruit together before you actually add the alcohol. So here I am muddling all of my beautiful raspberries. Oh, Effie, I forgot to tell you this too. When I was out shopping for today, I found cookies named after you. So I bought these for you as well.
Effie's okay. I wish I had a piece of that girl's business. She's in all the Whole Foods.
She's Greek, right?
I don't know, but she's from Hyde Park. She's from Boston. We should all meet her.
Yes.
I'm gonna name like Effie. All right, so now here's where the Kleos comes in. It is so phenomenal. And look at how beautiful those bottles are. Again, Effie, I'm so proud of you with these bottles. Gosh, you just killed it. I was trying to explain to some of my non-Greek friends. Okay, so 2 ounces of the Kleos, by the way. I was trying to explain to some of my non-Greek friends what Mastiha tastes like. And it's something that's so familiar to us Greeks because we grew up with it. And mastiha means gum. So the gum in Greece that you chew tastes just like this if it's not bubble gum or something. And just like Penny said, we have something in Greece called a spoon sweet. There's spoon sweets. There's like gerasi, which is dark cherry. There's the mastiha one. There's vanilla. Say it again.
Vanilla was the mastiha one, right?
Vanilla was mastiha. It's so just nostalgic, and it really takes you back to your childhood. Like the yayas would drink their coffee, and then they have the vanilla and the water next to it, you know? Okay, so there's that, which is, gosh, it's so good. And then I'm going to add a little bit of vodka. And you know, another thing I'd like to point out, when you see how difficult it is to harvest the mastiha tree in Chios, and you realize the love that goes into making something so beautiful like the mastiha farmers, like no diss to vodka, but the potato isn't quite as hard to harvest as the mastiha, just saying.
Good point.
Okay, so then there's just an ounce of vodka. If you want to put a little more, put a little more, it's up to you. And then your ice. Excuse me while I use the handy Pyrex that every Greek woman has in their kitchen. Or like my mom used to say, Pyrex, kale, parto Pyrex. All right, now. Wow, look, the ice was so cold it frosted the whole thing. It's amazing. Okay, now you pour, oh, look how beautiful that is. I'm gonna pour it in a champagne glass. If you have a martini glass, that would be lovely as well. And you're, oh, look at that. And you see that beautiful fruit. Hold on, I'm gonna have to take some of this ice out, I think. Stand by, we're clogged. I know there's more than that in there. There we go. Oh, I don't want the ice to fall in. What do I do? See, Effie, no one's as good of a mixologist as you are.
You have to strain it.
I can't, it won't come out.
You can take the other side of the whatever you use for the shaker and do that.
Oh, all right, hang on, let me see. Hold on.
Or if you want to, be a pro, you get what's called a Hawthorne strainer, and then you pop that on the top of the mixing tin and you strain everything out like that.
Oh. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pour it in with a few ice cubes and call it a day because it looks too pretty.
So for everyone, this is called a dirty dump, by the way. When you don't strain out the ice that you shake in the tin, it's called a dirty dump.
It's the Dirty Debbie dump. Absolutely fabulous. Now you would finish this, by the way, if it were done correctly, with some edible flowers, right?
You have some flowers.
I do have some flowers that I've gotten for you. And I have to say, I'm pretty sure rose petals are edible.
Yes.
And these are organic. Hold on, I'm gonna run it under some water just in case. Okay. You know, you can't be too safe these days. And then just put some pretty flowers on it, like that. The edible flowers would be lovely. Oh my gosh, this is actually very pretty, even with the rose petals. Just like that. Oh, there you go.
Yasu.
Look at how beautiful the color of that drink is. I love it.
Can you see in there how pretty that is?
I love it. And again, you guys, there's very little added sugar in this. And because, Deb's also using just the fresh fruit to muddle, this is still going to be kind of like a low-cal treat. It's so delicious. And
it's fantastic.
Yeah, call this drink the Absolutely Fabulous because Absolute Vodka is the vodka of choice for this one. Wait, we've got some comments in the.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Frankie from Boston wants to know, is your Cheers shirt because we're all from Boston?
Very funny. That's very funny that you thought of that. I actually thought of that too. This was a sweater I had gotten for Christmas, like for cocktail parties during Christmas, and then COVID happened and there were no Christmas parties. Today when we were doing this, I thought, oh, this is a good idea. I should wear this for Effie. I love that you picked up on that. I'm gonna pour some more. This is...
Boston people are wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked.
So wait a second, Effie. This is the thing, but it wouldn't come out right. You see?
Oh, the strainer, the three piece.
This is what happens when you order something from Amazon.
So just for everyone that's tuning in terms of bar tools, you want to have a mixing tin at home. You can get a 3-piece shaker. 3-piece means there's the top, the strainer, and then the mixing tin itself. This is kind of an easy way to, make your drinks. Otherwise, I mean, I like these big boys. I got this one in London. This is like a ginormous mixing tin. Love this one. Or you get what's called a Boston shaker, which is going to be, a mixing tin with a pint glass on the other side. That's typically what you're going to see, professional bartenders use. And then you would have to get what's called a Hawthorne strainer to place on top of the mixing tin so that you could strain out ice, pulp of fruit, et cetera, et cetera.
What's a Hawthorne strainer? Is it the same as a regular like tea strainer?
No. This is a Hawthorne strainer.
Oh, yes. That you see at bars. That the bartender uses.
Muddler. This is what Debbie was using to press the fruit.
That's great. This is great. These things are fantastic.
Lemon squeezer, lemon or lime squeezer. You can also use one like Penny had. Fresh juice is always best. But again, we made it easy for you with this cocktail kit. The cocktail kit comes with a shelf-stable lemon juice that actually has no preservatives, no additives. It's a girlfriend of mine, April Wachtel, who has this company, Cheeky. So in the cocktail kit, you'll get Kleos, you'll get a cranberry, you'll get a Cheeky simple syrup, and you'll get a Cheeky lemon. So you'll be able to make 2 drinks, the Kleos Cosmo, which Tony made, and then the Cleopatra, which the recipe's right on the bottle. You just use Kleos, lemon, and basil.
So far, Penny is the only one who really nailed it with the drink.
Nailed it too. Everyone did great.
Except for me.
Everyone did great. I can't set this computer up so my head doesn't get cut off. All right, so I am gonna take it home and I'm gonna make a drink that I call the Mighty Aphrodite. So if you saw, there's someone in the waiting room still. If you saw the invite and you saw the beautiful Aphrodite head with the sunglasses on and then that really pretty drink, that's the drink that I'm gonna make. Mighty Aphrodite was also a film that I love that was a Woody Allen film. If you're ever bored, check it out. And I love this film because what he did was made it very much to the structure of an ancient Greek tragedy where he had like the audience. It's literally just like an ancient Greek tragedy, but a modern movie version. So it's really, really cool. Anyway, Mighty Aphrodite. So we're gonna take my shaker tin, and this drink has a number of ingredients. So it's gonna be Kleos, a raspberry puree, and I use a brand called Boiron. You can see it right here. Boiron raspberry puree. I really like this company. There's another one called Perfect Puree from Napa. You can buy both of these brands online. The reason that I'm using a puree in this drink versus muddling the fruit is because this puree has a very specific, sweetness and sugar content. So it's going to be predictable so that my drink always tastes the same. That's why I use the Boiron. In addition, there's going to be a little bit of simple, and I wasn't as cool as Debbie. I used the simple that's in the cocktail kit. I didn't make my own simple. You're going to end up topping this drink with Prosecco. I like Mio Netto. You want to use drier Proseccos when you're making spritzes with Kleos, so they don't end up being too sweet. And then this recipe, as is on the website. I added 2 fun ingredients to this drink tonight. and I'll show them to you as we build. So I'm starting off with 1 ounce of the puree. You can see this is a little bit thick, which is another reason why it's important to have the strainer. I'm going to do a 1/4 ounce of simple. So you can see just the fact that we add sugar to these drinks shows you that Kleos is not that sweet. It still can take a little bit of sweetness to have balance. If you want your drinks drier, by all means, don't add the sugar. And then I'm gonna add 1 ounce of Kleos here. So it's 1 ounce puree, 1 ounce of Kleos, 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. And then my little secret ingredients are rose water. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up with this in the fridge growing up. My mother always had rose water in the kitchen. And I'm literally doing not even a half of a teaspoon, because this is an ingredient, someone else in the waiting room, this is an ingredient that can get really soapy really quick. So you do not want to OD with the rose water. I'm literally doing a couple of drops. Obviously, rose is an aphrodisiac. And then another one I'm going to do a drop of is lavender. Also something that can get really soapy real quick. So I'm literally doing 1 drop. Lavender is also an aphrodisiac. It makes you very chill, very relaxed, help you get in the mood. So I'm gonna add ice and then shake vigorously. So excited. I got this beautiful champagne flute from Williams-Sonoma today. I love this. Gorgeous, gorgeous glass. I'm a total snob on glassware. And look at this beauty.
Wow.
Wow. Really wow.
The raspberries are kind of thick to strain through, huh?
Well, it's the puree, but this is what we're gonna do with it now is we're gonna top it with the Prosecco. And this is kind of a larger flute, so I'm not topping it all the way because that's would be too much Prosecco. And then you just wanna, I would use a bar spoon typically, but this is just a metal straw to kind of mix that up. And then we're gonna finish this off with, look at this. This is definitely phallic. Opa.
I am now in Chicago. I relocated 2 months ago.
Our little pretty raspberry garnish. Look at that beauty. Someone else has to screenshot this for me.
I got you.
Beautiful.
Wait, let me put the cap on the bottle.
Hold on. Light, straighten it, straighten it.
How are you from? Are you in the city?
Gotcha.
Close to the airport.
I love this drink. You guys, the rose and the lavender take it to the next level. It makes it so aromatic. And then, I mean,
Wow.
full sexy time. Another thing I brought, you can tell me and Debbie are, you know, soul sisters here. I also got the chocolate. Champagne truffles from Williams-Sonoma. This box of 3 chocolates cost me $14. Hello.
Oh my gosh, you better savor those.
But yeah, guys, take notes, you know. These drinks are super easy to make. Literally, most of these were 3-ingredient, 4-ingredient cocktails. But because Mastiha is kind of so aromatic and so layered and so complex, it kind of tastes like you have this mixologist make you this very special concoction. And it comes from all this is in one spirit. Is Ari still on? I want to put everyone's video on because I know a lot of people were complaining in the chat that they want to see everybody.
Do you want me to unmute them as well?
I think we can, because we can definitely kind of go to a Q&A now, as long as it doesn't get too crazy.
All right, here we go.
Swati, do you want to moderate a Q&A?
Yeah, if people want to actually ask any of our guests, including Effie, questions, put them in the chat box, and then our guests can address the questions that come in. I think that would be the best way so that no one's talking over each other.
Okay.
Well, I unmuted everybody, so let's see what happens.
Just, yeah, if everyone can just type in the chat box their questions, and then the guests will respond based on the question.
Well, I mean, they can speak their question too.
Well, okay. Let's give it a shot. Ari, you give the cue, brother.
Let's see.
I notified everybody they could unmute themselves.
Frederica, from
Yes.
the Professional Women's Association.
Yes.
She's an old friend of Debbie's as well. I know you want to.
Well, wait a minute now. Somebody's talking in the background. I don't know. Can you hear it?
It's Karen's iPhone.
There we go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, the Wilbur Mills, that's nothing.
well, I mean, I have to say, I totally enjoyed
the
the presentation. I attended the other one, that you did for HPW, and it was fantastic, and you added to that. The raspberry is brand new for me, and that's my favorite fruit. So I would love to try that. What other combinations do you do with raspberry?
What other combinations?
Yeah.
Those are actually the only two recipes that I have with raspberry on the website, but something else that you could easily do would be like a gin fizz. So you could mix raspberry with lemon juice or lime juice and do Kleos and gin 50-50, and then do about a half a cup or so of egg white. And then you could shake that up with no ice. So you do what's called a dry shake. And then pour that into a highball glass over ice. And then what the egg white does, it gives it a nice, beautiful, silky texture. So egg cocktails with Kleos tend to be amazing from a texture standpoint because the Kleos itself is such a silky mouthfeel because of the Mastiha. Mastiha acts like a thickening agent in culinary. That's why it's used in ice cream. It's used in yogurt sometimes as well.
Okay.
So Kleos has a really silky texture and mouthfeel. So when you add egg white to some of these, to some cocktails with Kleos, the texture is like, in Greek we would say aerato, just beautiful, beautiful. So
very nice.
Something else to do with raspberry and Kleos.
Thank you.
So Effie, speaking of the raspberries and the egg whites and everything, I hadn't really thought about doing this since I had my first Kleos bottle last week. This would be a great way to do a variation of a Clover Club with simple syrup and the raspberry and egg white and a little bit of lemon. I think Kleos would make a great kind of Clover Club base.
So
just throwing it out there.
Anthony DeSario is kind of like a legend. He's a Connecticut bartender, mixologist, consultant in the spirits industry. We'll definitely try to do one one of these with you in Connecticut soon for a new audience. But do you want to tell everyone what a Clover Club is?
Well, to keep within time and not do my Dr. Boo's 24-hour seminar, Clover Club is just a really like kind of post-prohibition cocktail, very simple ingredient, using egg white, lemon, and a raspberry simple syrup, and normally has a gin base to it. So very herbaceous base with a little bit of a sweet, a little bit of a sour. Raspberry gives it a beautiful pink color. Dry shaking it with the egg whites before you wet shake it with your regular ice brings a nice, beautiful foam garnished with the raspberry on top. It's just a classic, iconic drink. And Kleos is kind of like that kid on the playground that plays well with everybody. And I think that you could take almost any cocktail spanning off of, see what happens when you ask me a question? Now it's not going to be a tangent. My basic take on my first taste of Kleos is you can use this in every classic cocktail from Harry Craddock's books all the way up. There's really no cocktail that you can't sub out Kleos for something else and just have a wonderful product. So kudos to you. Thank you for the inspiration. And yeah, Kleos Clover Club coming up next after the Zeus Juice.
Awesome. Anthony made a follow Anthony on Instagram. He's Dr. Booze CT, Dr. Booze Connecticut. But he made an amazing drink with it was blue.
Yeah,
So we love that. All the Greeks love blue. You want to tell
electric
that
dust.
real quick?
That
It
was
like
the
an
electric dust.
lemonade situation.
Yeah, we use the electric dust. That has that. It's made from a flower that gives you like a little. It has like a lot of alkaloids in it. It gives you a little bit of tingle to it, and it's blue in color. So really, it was just the Kleos lemon juice, and I did a simple syrup, adding the electric dust to make it blue. And so again, very simple combination, just spirit, sweet, and a little bit of sour. Made a nice blue cocktail, and then we took the Kleos, and we won't get too into it, but you can look up, or if you want to follow me and ask me how to do it later, I did a Kleos cocktail foam that actually had a little bit of blue color in it too from the electric dust. So it had a blue cloud on top, and then little lightning bolt lemon zest, and also took the candy from the electric dust and made that into a cotton candy. So it had a cotton candy cloud that you would eat. And yeah, Effie just like really inspired me, and I just went crazy one day. And so the Zeus juice was born.
That's
It's,
amazing.
it sounds a lot harder than it is.
When we're in
Try to
Connecticut,
create
we gotta stop at your place, Anthony.
You're in my place right now.
Give him a follow on Instagram, and you'll see the recipe on his Instagram. Basilia Logothetis, did you have a question? Wait, she's still muted.
I asked her to unmute.
Cute. I'm sorry. I accidentally pressed one of these, but I want to congratulate you. This is a wonderful opportunity to get to so many wonderful people. Thank you. And I wish you all the best.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Basilia, do you know that there is a Logothetis family that is from Chios that's big? It's a big shipping family, and they also own a ton of Mastiha trees. Are you related to them?
We're not. I'm from Kariotis. But I'm sure Logothetides are everywhere.
They, this individual is very, very high net worth. So yeah, big shipping family, Mastiha family. What was I gonna ask you? And I can't remember. I'm like losing my train of thought.
Have a drink.
Oh, Karpathos. I have a new spoof. I've done a spoof on the old Calgon Take Me Away ads, and the music for the ad that I've done is from a DJ from Karpathos, DJ Frisbee.
Oh, yes.
Two clubs in
we know him well. Yes.
So that's my Karpathos connection, and I'm going to go there this summer, God willing.
It is gorgeous. Like every island in Greece, it's also it's gorgeous, and it's one of the most undiscovered.
They're saying it's the next Mykonos.
Oh, I hope not. I'm sorry. We like it that way. It's non-commercial. It's still
so beautiful.
It's pure. It's virgin in its beauty and its traditions. It really is. Well, we would love to have you. I would love to see you there.
Cheers. Anastasia in Mass. Did you want to unmute yourself or turn your video on?
I'm just going to say hi and thank you. This was so much fun. I'm in my jammies and I don't look as beautiful as you all do, but thank you so much I'm an herbalist, so it was really nice to hear about the healing properties of Mastiha. And I'm going to try your product. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Awesome. So since you brought up the topic of the healing properties, Mastiha actually kills H. pylori, which is the bacteria that causes peptic ulcers, gastric cancer, and acid reflux. It's a natural remedy for Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome. So actually European pharma buys Mastiha and puts it in pills for people who have GI problems. It's officially recognized as an herbal medicine in the EU, not yet in the US. As you can imagine, there's some pharmaceutical companies that have something to lose if Mastiha gets that kind of certification, because there are people who have Crohn's are on medication for sometimes a lifetime. And basically what I'm told was one of the people that I also interviewed when I did my documentary was the head of research and development for the Growers Association. He is a doctor, PhD. So he manages most of the medical research and then collects studies that are done outside of the Growers Association. And he has told me that you would do 1 to 2 months and a gram of Mastiha per day, and it would cure anything having to do with ulcers, Crohn's, and IBS. You know, I don't have any of those things. All I can tell you is I also take Mastiha essential oil and I put like 1 drop in my water right around that time of the month. So if you're bloated, it is literally one of the magic cures for the stomach. TMI, I know, but another thing it's great for is tooth pain, toothaches. Mastiha is antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant. So it's literally a cure-all, do-all. Like I used to joke, Chris Rock had a riff about Robitussin. If you guys love Chris Rock.
I remember that. That.
And he'll literally be like, put some tussin on it. I say, put some Mastiha on it. It literally cures everything. And when I tell my American friends, they think it's like some old Greek wives' tale, but I'm like, no, there's actually tons of medical studies that, you know, back all of this up. So thank you for touching on those points. Daymaker, I've got to ask you to unmute. So this is another new friend that I literally met through Instagram. These are Mastiha lovers, him and his partner, and they're in North Carolina. We've got some other people from North Carolina here too. Christina Pelisaris and I think Elizabeth Tanos Priest. I'm not sure if she's here. But you're also super into Mastiha because of its health benefits. What was your Mastiha journey like?
Yes.
How did you find it?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I've been working, I'm a naturopathic doctor, so I actually prescribe Mastiha to many people for their SIBO and Crohn's and different areas that are happening in their digestive system. You know, I've always been, you know, if you go to India and you have toothache, they'll give you frankincense to chew on in order for that to help to protect that layer within the gum. And so the Mastiha, being a tear coming from the tree, a sap, it has that similar type of property. And so my wife, Erin, who's also on here, she's been in the natural products industry, and we work with farmers all over the world doing regenerative and biodynamic farming. And she's been to Greece many times, and she, you know, just brought the Mastiha into my world. And I was like, oh, wow, look at the Latin name. I actually prescribe that for people's digestive issues. And so, you know, it was interesting. I went on a journey. I'm a triple Gemini. So when she said, hey, honey, I want to get some Mastiha, I got some Kleos and some Skinos and some roots. And I got a variety of different Mastihas in the house so we could do a tasting. And it was really interesting just to taste the purity of your product and the uniqueness of your product. You can taste the double distillation. You can really taste the purity of it. And, you know, we went even to the point where that you were talking about the association, and we're bringing a bunch of Mastiha products in because we're seeing how can we incorporate them into some amazing superfood products and bring more life and light to that product line and potentially do some co-branding with Kleos. But your product is off the charts.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So first of all, I've been saying for years, like, why is Mastiha not the next acai? And I really feel like it's definitely going to come. This past year, National Geographic wrote a piece on Mastiha. In 2019, the New York Times did an exhaustive piece on Mastiha, and it was Frank Bruni who wrote that piece, who used to be the restaurant critic for the Times. Wow. And he literally interviewed everyone I know from the Growers Association. I mean, it was hardcore. CNN also did a piece. So it's one of these things that it is definitely up and coming. The Growers Association themselves have kind of asked me to become an ambassador for Mastiha overall. So I'm going to try to help them to bring over some of their other products, which is like the toothpaste, the mouthwash. They have a face mask as well. They have a face toner. And that's what they call this line, the art of nature. So it's a line that's specifically functional. So they're very focused. The Growers Association really doesn't care too much about the spirits or the liquors. They really want to grow Mastiha as a functional food product. So I love that you're doing that, and we'll definitely, chat more offline. But back to my original point in the beginning, people who, find Mastiha literally end up being fanatics over it. And I love that there's also some Americans in the fold. It's not just all of us Greek Americans. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Cheers. Konstantin Uranitsas had his hand raised. Do you want to unmute yourself, Konstantin?
Okay, yeah, sorry, I just got permission to unmute. So thanks for this event, and I know we've done a few events in the past, so always appreciate having seeing you and doing these workshops. So one question, just I guess for both you and Tony, just because I know he had a little bit of a trouble earlier, and Tony and I spent some time this summer searching the island of Koufounisia for Kleos. Obviously, you're not there yet, but when you're there and we're in Greece, we're going to have some. So can you help Tony and show the rest of us how his drink is supposed to be made?
No, Tony's going to do it over again.
Oh, man. But he's not lying. I was with him in Koufounisia this summer, and any place we went to, I always ask for Kleos, and he can vouch for that.
Well, it's going to be there this summer. They're the guys that own the Clumsies in Greece. So there's a bar called the Clumsies, everyone, that was number 4 on the world's 50 best bars list. This is a bar in Athens, world-class cocktail bar. They're opening up a bar in Koufounisia this summer called Zet, meaning T-Z-E-T, Zet, not jet, but Zet. So Zet is going to have Kleos. So you will find Kleos in Koufounisia this summer.
Love it. I can't wait till we go back. Costa, you're in, right?
I'm in.
All right. So are we going to do this again or no?
Yeah, Tony, you got to do over.
You gotta do
Before I start, I do see a familiar face in the crowd. Shout out to Frankie in Boston. But here we go.
Oh, we're going to put him on the spot next.
All right, we will. All right. So I still have the exact recipe up on my screen. Bear with me. I've been drinking a lot of Mastiha while you guys were talking. So 2 ounces. We're going to go 2 ounces.
First mistake, when you're building a cocktail, we always start with the non-alcoholic.
All right. See, I told you I haven't bartended before. All right. So 1/2 ounce of cheeky lemon.
It's Toro.
1/2 ounce. I pour it in here, right?
Bravo.
So now it's cheeky cran. This is really putting me on the spot right now. Like, if I pull this off now, this is more impressive. Fabulous bottle.
The best part, you got the measuring cups too, so it should be easy.
Exactly. I don't know why it didn't work earlier.
Well, you know
Was
what?
it diluted with ice?
Could be that. I mean, to be fair, also cranberry is a seasonal product, so the color could change,
Do you need to shake the cheeky cranberry
It could be
bottle?
my camera. The colors don't come through that clear.
Okay.
camera.
So 3 ingredients.
So I just put 2 ounces of Mastiha, 1/2 ounce of cran, and 1/2 ounce of lemon.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yes.
We're gonna cap it off.
Yeah, Anthony said the same. You might need to shake the cheeky.
No, he needs to
Oh.
shake his cheek.
It's too late now.
Shake both your cheekies.
Has anyone else been drinking, by the way?
Oh my gosh, I need ice. Hold on one second.
I don't know. Every time I do one of these Zooms, I always think about the Jetsons when I was a kid, and I thought, like, oh my God, how
Okay,
weird.
so this had ice. It wasn't that. So
And now
here
we're
we go. Final result.
It came up white.
It's white.
It's yellow.
Right in there.
Whoa.
Oh, maybe it's the cranberry this time.
You're just gonna have to make it again. Go on.
You guys are a bad influence on me.
Should I take off work tomorrow?
Ready? Let's get a picture. Screenshot.
See if it's balanced.
I love the red in there.
Was it supposed to be red?
I think it's the fault is the cranberry. I think the cranberry might have, you know.
Goodness, I knew I was following my instructions. Amas.
Taste it and tell me if it's balanced.
It tastes perfect. Exactly how I remember it.
That's awesome.
All right, so Erin from North Carolina is telling us we need biodynamic cranberries. I agree. But you know, we try to make the cocktail kit easy peasy for people.
User friendly.
Don't source all the fresh ingredients. So I'm gonna put Frankie Stavrianopoulos on the spot right now. Yes, unmute
Let's
yourself.
go. Come on, Frankie.
We got another Boston legend, Boston nightlife.
Hi, everybody.
He's gonna join in, so I'm so happy that he's here.
I told you I would. I'm drinking chamomile though, so no Kleos for me.
But you can add
Is that a Patriots cup?
It might be. I've been converted. Sorry, guys. No, I love what you guys are doing, what you're doing, Effie and Foti. We're overdue for a conversation, but I've been hosting a bunch of online mixology stuff myself, so I think we have some work to do together and help spread the brand and our Greekness.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we've got a pro. We've got Anthony DeSario here. So for all of us amateur bartenders, we've got a pro that you can use instead of us.
I've already messaged Anthony, so.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining in tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, Anthony has a question in the chat. How many tries did it take for you to get the Mastiha formula in the final product? It's a great question. 17.
Wow.
17 formulas. So I did 8 formulas at the Metaxa distillery, which is where Skinos is made. And I wasn't happy because they only use a sugar beet spirit as a base. So sugar beets are it's the cheapest alcohol you can buy bulk on the global market. And it's the base of most Uramari. It's the base of some liqueurs as well, like Di Serrano uses sugar beet. So the sugar beet isn't truly neutral. It actually has a little bit of funk on the nose, and I found that it covered some of the organoleptic qualities of the Mastiha. So 8 formulas. There wasn't any particular one that I was in love with. I then found a distillery in Patra, which was the Jajalis distillery, which makes the original Tendura. So for those of you that don't know, Tendura is another classic Greek liqueur. It's a cinnamon liqueur, and it originated in Patra. So this was the distillery and the family that created the original Tendura. And their great-grandfather was from Chios, but they had only one little baby still. And they yesed me to death on my production quantities, but I just feared that I'd end up having to like jump in on the production line and buy extra stills and the whole thing. So even though their formula was fabulous, I was a little bit afraid of working with them in terms of their production capability. And I, in the meantime, tried to make Mastiha at home. So I actually bought a baby still I ruined a baby still as well, because when you put the Mastiha in the still, like I said, it kind of sticks all over it. So I couldn't use it for anything else. That was like $700 down the drain. But I made 5 different formulas of my own, and I used cane, neutral grain, sugar beet, corn, and molasses. So I used 5 different bases, and I found that the neutral grain spirit and the cane spirit were the most optimal. The cane was great, but I didn't want people to think that this was a Greek rum. So, you know, neutral grain spirit, that's the base of gin. It's the base of some higher level liqueurs. I really liked it for Mastiha because it's literally just a clean, neutral, you know, backbone. We say vodka is odorless, tasteless, colorless. So I really wanted something that would allow the Mastiha to shine. And that's why Kleos is going to be so much more aromatic, so much more complex, and so much more layered than, you know, Roots or Skinos or, you know, Americon or some of these other brands. And I love it. Our friend Dave Baker, you know, who's our American, has probably tried more Mastiha brands than some of the Greeks on the Zoom tonight. So Roots that he mentioned is a cold compounded product. It's not distilled at all. Skinos is a single distillation, but it's made in industrial size stills. Kleos is made in small stills. So it's what you call small batch. Think when you say small batch production versus industrial production, it's like cooking for 2 people versus cooking for a party of 100, right? So when you do small batch production, you're literally making small batches of liquid at a time. That's how we make Kleos, so that the production is much more kind of controlled from a flavor and aromatic standpoint. And then we use the 2 forms of Mastiha, the raw resin, so we can heat it and extract the most flavor and aroma compounds. And then we do the second distillation with the essential oil so that we can maintain consistency batch to batch. And I'm not gonna lie, this batch, I called out my distiller because I said, I opened up a bottle and I can smell a little bit of anise. I don't like that, you know, because we typically use dedicated stills. Every distillery in Greece that's making Mastiha also makes ouzo. So with brands like Teteris, with Roots, with Psychis is another brand, you open those bottles up and they literally smell like ouzo. And that's because a lot of the times they don't clean the stills properly. And so you've got anise residue in the still, and then that transfers over to the Mastiha. So with Kleos, we've got 2 dedicated stills for Mastiha, but this go round, I smelled a little bit of anise and I'm like, is there a chance that you guys used an ouzo still on this one? Because I can, pardon my French, I can fucking tell because I know my product so well. Like I can blind taste myself typically, and I can usually always pick out the Kleos. So the funny thing was once I opened the bottle and then let it sit for a couple of hours, then it was good. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's see, do we have any more questions?
Effie, can I say something really quick?
Yes.
Just hearing you, I'm just like, well, first of all, I'm a couple drinks in too, so I'm just like really feeling everything you're saying.
I'm with you, Penny.
Right? So I'm just like, this is why I love this product. It's not about just drinking alcohol at all. And I'm like a really passionate person. So like just hearing her story right now, I'm like, I love that she knows her product so well, and that, oh my gosh, there's like so much behind it. I'm hearing her right now. I'm like, this is why I love Kleos so much. Like, I'm just like 100%. I give it an A+. It's so important for people to know the story behind it. It's not just alcohol, you know, there's passion and love and
No, the passion that you have for it, I mean, it's for sure, it's obvious.
Out of this world. Like
Yeah.
It doesn't compare to anything else.
You don't hide the passion, which makes it so beautiful.
Seriously.
Words that are so scientific, I feel like you're in the lab. I don't even know what you're saying.
I know, right? And I'm saying the same thing. I'm listening and I'm like, oh my God.
So impressive, Effie. Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Well,
So I just wanted to say that.
well, it's not just a pretty package, because the inside is good too, right? So that's what was really important for me with Kleos. Like I said, I really wanted to make this a world-class Mastiha. I want this to be the next global Greek spirit brand. You know, I'm talking to digital agencies right now. So people who are going to do like Facebook, Instagram ads and whatnot. And the thing is once more people hear about this, like I know this journey is probably going to be a long one. Like I'm planning 6-7 years, but it probably could take longer because it's already taken way longer even just to get here, you know, but my excitement and my passion has never waned. You know, I slept on my mother's couch. I live with a roommate now who's a hoarder. I have not lived with a roommate in years. You know, like I feel like I'm 21 years old again, like having to just give up everything. And I'm kind of like, Olo yatomoro, you know, it's all for the baby, right? Like it's gonna happen, you know. I honestly can't wait. Fonty's like, oh, we've been with you on this journey. Wait till 5 years from now when there's a bottle of Kleos Mastiha on, you know, not every, let's say 80% of back bars in the United States. That's when we can actually really toast. Until then, I'm still a lowly, struggling entrepreneur.
Do you see the white hairs coming out from all this?
I mean, it's so impressive, Effie. It's so impressive. If I didn't know you and I were to taste this out, I would be a huge advocate and be like, who made this? This stuff is amazing. And just like you said, all the medicinal properties. I mean, how can you not be impressed with this? And the fact that just now, the idea that Mastiha is medicinal is coming around to the States. You know, there's so much, just like you said, with the pharma companies, et cetera, but this is like a gazillion years old. Listen, it's been working for centuries, for thousands of years in Greece. It works. It's not hype. It's just, it's delicious. It's good. It's clean. And it's medicinal. That's super impressive. I'm not sure there are many other liquors out there that you can say that about.
Right.
Well, you know, there is a category of liqueurs called digestifs, right? Wow. So stuff like
very sweet.
You know, you're right, absolutely right. Fernet Branca, even Campari, Aperol, Chartreuse. So these are
bitters too.
Herbal type liqueurs that you would drink for digestive purposes. Now, something like Chartreuse or let's say Jägermeister, you know, they've got tons and tons of herbs. They don't tell you what the recipe is. And I always say with Mastiha, it's one ingredient, and it's one ingredient that's actually backed by science. So, you know, these other products are digestifs, and it's kind of like anecdotal, you know, like these herbs, maybe you drink it, you burp up a little bit, but it's all anecdotal. Whereas with Mastiha, we have actual real studies, and they're not like done by Greeks in the village in the Chorio. You know, it's the New England Medical Journal, the University of Nottingham. You know, these have been kind of double-blind studies done outside of Greece by non-Greek doctors and researchers. So it's, you know, really cool. It's just that I always say that Greeks were like the worst marketers on the world. You know, 60% of Italian olive oil is bottled Greek olive oil, right? The biggest Greek yogurt brand is a fucking Turkish brand called Chobani. I mean, really, like another one of my things with Kleos was kind of like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to show them how it's got to be done. And we have so many things from Greece that deserve more recognition and a bigger kind of place globally. And I just feel like we're in a place right now where there's kind of a renaissance happening. You know, there's a new president in Greece who's a Harvard grad, a little more hip. There's a younger generation that's kind of tired of the old ways. And there's a lot of cool new products and companies that are coming out of Greece right now. Like there's another company called Olyra, Olyra, that I found in Whole Foods, and I connected with the founder on LinkedIn. And he's doing just a ton of like organic grain products, like cereal biscuits, stuff like this. Obviously, tons of olive oils that are coming out now. I just got a LinkedIn connection today. Again, an American introduced me to this girl, Vasiliki, who's starting an olive oil brand. Greg Pappas from Greek America has his own olive oil brand coming out now from Crete. And like Crete literally has the best dairy, the best olive oil, the best cheese, you know? And the great thing about Greece as well is that everything's kind of organic by default. You know, we don't use, again, I say it's kind of like partially because of the laziness of Greeks, you know, they're not as hardcore on agribusiness as, let's say, the United States is. So nothing's GMO, nothing really has pesticides. Mastiha, unfortunately, does not have an organic certification just because some farmers, and it could be like two, you know, because I've been fighting with the Growers Association for years about this. Some farmers put fertilizer on their olive trees, and some olive trees are growing near Mastiha trees, so they can't get an organic certification because the EU is much more stringent with any certification than we are here in the US. In the US, an organic certification is frankly a joke unless it's coming from like Oregon Tilth or there's a California certification board. You know, otherwise it's just like another payoff. You pay somebody off, you get smack an organic sticker on your products, you know. In the EU, it's not the same. So anyway, I'm like going on and on.
Yeah, this has been great. I mean, for us, we've done quite a bit with you, and every time we do something with you, we always learn more. You inspire us. The fact that we bring different guests every time, it's just always a great pleasure to have you with us. As far as Greek Wine Club goes, Greek is on Urban Wine Club, and we wanted to thank you for, you know, giving us the time that you can tell your story, bring your wonderful guests, and I wanted to thank joining us tonight, Tony Kariotis. I wanted to thank Penny Meletlidis. You guys have been great, and obviously Debbie Matenopoulos, which is an honor. You know, as a guy, I watched The View, believe it or not, and it's been a pleasure.
You know what's really cool about Debbie, and I don't know if anybody else thinks this, but I think the coolest thing in the world is if Saturday Night Live features you as a parody. That's how you know you are like pop culture icon.
Definitely. No, but it's great to have all these different, you know, as Greeks, Greek Americans, Philhellenes, not the fact that, you know, we have individuals who are not Greek, but they're, you know, there's a love and a connection to the culture. And it's great for us. It's very refreshing and inspiring, and it drives us to continue to do more of these webinars or, you know, connections and initiatives that allows us to, you know, keep our Greek culture alive, but also really bring to the table what Greece has to offer. And it's individuals like Effie that really elevate Greek products, because for a long time, Greek products have struggled, whether it was food, whether it was wine, whether it was spirits. You know, we never really broke that benchmark of mainstream until recently. And I'm so thankful that we're part of this movement together as a group. So thank you.
Wait, there's one more person we got to shout out before we close. Where
Definitely.
did she go? Alexia, where did she go? Ooh.
Alexia's probably fixing.
She signed off, I think.
Well, no,
Loser.
Alexia did say that she had a flight to Bulgaria in the morning, so she might have signed off.
Alexia, there's a woman that had joined. Oh, wait. Alexia, are you back?
I see.
There she is. Alexia,
Yeah.
can you unmute yourself?
It's the mute button.
Where is she?
She's on here. Well, I want to say, Alex.
She's unmuted.
Oh.
She's unmuted.
There she is.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Did you guys call me?
Yeah. I wanted to shout you out because we were talking about, you know,
Like literally I had it on my phone and it just died. And I was like, what? Oh my God, I have no battery. And I was just like, putting it on my laptop now.
Well, I'm glad you popped back in. Before we wrap, I wanted to also shout out Alexia. She's got a company in New England called Olympiana Foods. And she also kind of shares the love and the passion, and she imports a ton of, you know, authentic Greek products. feta cheese. I mean, please
Thanks, Effie.
tell everyone. Yeah.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't know you guys were going to talk to me.
There's so many people to thank.
Yeah, so we have a company, a little company, and we import different products from Greece, and we label it under the name Olympiana. So we're just in the Northeast right now, but yeah, we're excited that we're advertising Greece and marketing it. So
Yeah.
to be along you guys and Effie.
And can I make a note? Can I make a comment? You know, Alexia is part of the BC group. Right?
Oh.
Is that why you're here too?
We all went to Boston. We went to Boston College. Me, Foti, Alexia.
I know. Look what we turned out. Like Boston College is the best.
But
So yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Alexia. We love your products. You know, we're big fans of it as well. And it's people like Alexia, Effie, Tony, Ari, Debbie, Penny. I mean, we can go on and on and on. But for us, you know, this is what it's all about. We continue to bring interesting and fascinating guests to our platform. If I can mention for those that were visiting tonight and on board, you can find Kleos products on our platforms, whether it's GreekWineClub.co or our newly launched platform called Greekazon.com. You can find great Greek products and Kleos on it as well. And, you know, we ship to, as Effie has mentioned, to 12 different states. And if for those of you that are in Massachusetts, you don't need to really leave your house, we can just ship it right to your door if that's convenient, especially this time of the year. And we're definitely going to have Effie back, you know, for more of these. And anyone that's here joining us, you know, please send us a message. We'd love to connect with everybody. It's all about building this network together. And also, you know, when you visit us, Ari can mention, you know, you can download our apps. We've got apps that you can download so that it's in your phone whenever you need us. Again, thank you so much, Effie, for doing this and putting this together. And thank you to all of our guests. We love you guys. This has been fascinating. We always enjoyed as always.
Thank you guys. This was so much fun. Effie, congratulations. Stini Yamas, everybody.
Yes.
Yamas.
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 All right.
Cheers.
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 All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Effie,
you.
for putting this
Bye.
together.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.